we're only a few days away from your first UFC light heavyweight title shot. What are your initial thoughts leading into this fight with Glover? It's obviously you've known it's been Glover for a few months now, but now that it is fight week, how are you feeling?
I feel in the best shape in my life, and I'm prepared to. The best is I feel healthy. I feel like in good mood. Everything is prepared. So I'm just gonna prove that in the fight I'm the best one.
Before you made it to the UFC, you were fighting very frequently, like maybe 3-4 times a year, and now you've only fought twice. It's been a year since your last fight. Has it been hard to be this inactive after years of being so active?
Yeah, I'm taking that like a way, step by step in every fight. In my youngest time, I need to fight more, yeah, because I finding my style. I was finding my style, and now I'm just I'm just sharpening the details, yeah. And this time between the fights, it's helping me to be better in every step, yeah. Because now I'm taking every training like the last training, like a fight, yeah. And that's helping me to be better.
And then during this time off, when you said you were sharpening your tools, I think a lot of people, fighters and analysts would say Glover just needs to wrestle you, he needs to take you down and submit you. How much of your camp have you focused on the grappling aspect of it to get better in preparation?
Yeah, that started in beginning of this year. The preparation for to be better in the wrestling, in the jiu-jitsu, and how to react to change my natural reaction for a wrestler, to include wrestling in my stand-up style. And that was I think that was the hardest thing, what I have to accept. What I had to accept, and after some time I find some keys how to do that, and now I think I can wrestle with him easily. I can wrestle with him. I can react for his face for the wrestling, and in the jiu-jitsu and the ground or the ground game, I'm not like other fighters who wants to play jiu-jitsu or train the jiu-jitsu. For me, is the ground game simple. Ground and pound and find the finish. Nothing else.
What do you view as some of his biggest weaknesses after watching some of his past fights?
My or
his?
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to say it before the fight because I want to use it against him, and but everybody knows the the thing. He's a good in wrestling. I'm good in striking, and it's simple. But I wanna surprise a little bit in that.
And then finally, George St. Pierre called you a future UFC champion. So when you hear a fighter of his caliber call you that, what goes through your mind?
Man, that's a huge honor. Yeah, that's a huge honor. I read that yesterday, and I have to say he's a true. I thought about him, and I think he's a true warrior, because he's still working. He's not fighting active, but he's still working because he loves it, and I am the same. I love that. I love the fighting, and it's a big honor for me.
Hello. Hi, Jiri. Over here. Over here. Hello. Hi. Welcome to Singapore, Jiri.
Thank you.
First question is, I'm not sure if you're aware, but you are the betting favorite in this fight.
You're sure not what?
You are the betting favorite going
Oh.
into this fight.
Yeah.
Do you think that gives you any mental edge, or it doesn't matter to you at all?
No, nothing. It's giving me not the advantage. Everything will happen in the cage, so that's only thing was matter. No place, no people, no family, no other aspects. Just good preparation, good team vibe, and show that I'm the best.
And you're going into fight the champion here. What are the keys to victory against someone like Glover, who has been here for a long time? He's the veteran and he's the champ. So how do you beat the champ?
I don't wanna, like I said, I don't wanna tell you my strategy, but it's about the work. It's about against Glover. It's about to keeping some points, how to work on him. And if, in my case, if the right time will come, I have to end it as fastest way as I can.
And last question. You're on the brink of history here. If you beat him and you win the title, you become the first champion from Czech Republic. What does that mean to you, and what does that mean to the people of your country?
It's a big honor to fight here in UFC for a title from the small country like a Czech Republic where the MMA is still growing, yeah, and I appreciated that a few years back nobody knows the MMA in the Czech Republic, and now it's a very popular sport. So I'm very glad for that, to be the somebody who's representing this small country in the title shot.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Jiri here. So you used to fighting in Asian time zone 4 years before, and I guess you know that how to adjust, jet lag or something like that. So this experience can be an advantage for fight against the Glover.
Like I said, for me it doesn't matter about the timeline, about the fighter. A warrior have to fight when the challenge is before him. Doesn't matter if he's healthy, if he's good mood or whatever. I'm ready to fight every day.
All right. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, there you go. Jiri, we know how tough Glover is, and I know you said the goal is to put him away early, but how much do you have to use your fight IQ in knowing that you may have him hurt, but you can't be over-eager chasing the finish because he's able to come back in some of these fights?
What's the question?
How aware do you have to be of Glover's toughness, and when you might have him hurt in a moment, to not be over-eager for the finish because he's capable of coming back in these fights?
Yeah, that's I trained for that. I studied his style, and I know he's a tough. He know how to overcome the bad moments in the fight. So I will keep the pressure till the end. So, but be patient in that, because he know how to reverse every situation. So for him, for his style, I have to be very, very, very 100% precision. Yeah.
And I know you probably only want to think about this fight because this is an important moment, but Jan Blachowicz is going to be here cage side watching the fight. Do you expect him to be next for you if you win the title?
If I have to win the title, that doesn't matter what if the Jan will be there or whoever. But I'm looking forward to see him.
So Prochazka, there is a big difference. There is a big difference time between Asia and Euro, and you are gonna fight during the daylight. Are these conditions gonna be obstacle for your perform at the fight?
For me, it's not obstacles. Like I said, the fighter and warrior have to fight when the time will come. And now the time is around the lunch, so in preparation, I changed the main time of the main training for this time. So after this interview, I have a training. So I'll be ready. Everything is ready.
Thank you.
You're one more over here. Side. Did you train with John Jones at all when you were both at Fight Ready?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Did you get to size him up at all? Like, were you around him at all while he was there?
He didn't come.
Over here. Your pathway has been an accelerated one in UFC to a title fight. Does this come with extra expectation for you?
One more time, please.
Do you feel that there is added expectation on you because of the acceleration of your pathway to this title fight?
Yeah, I feel that a little bit, but for me, it's, I can't take that like something what's important. Yeah, everything is just about how you're working with your mind, and my mind is just focused to show the best performance. That's all.
Over here, other side. Right.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Well, welcome to your first fight week as UFC champion. How has fight week been for you with all these added responsibilities that come with the belt?
I'm enjoying every moment of it, man. You know, it's great to be a champ. I'm enjoying the journey. That's incredible time.
Well, Khabib had said something like when he got the belt, he had chased it for so long, and maybe it didn't come with everything that he maybe thought it was. Was it everything that you have expected, since obviously you've dreamt of becoming the UFC champion for so long?
Well, yeah. You know, being a champ of the world, like people keep asking how your life has changed, you know, after winning the belt. You know, I will say the same thing. How I don't have the answer. Like, why would it change? You know, like because I'm just humble, normal guy, and just being a champion is just a title, and it's just accomplished that I chased it for so many years. And is incredible. It's great to be a champion.
And then you're one of those rare champions. When you won the title, you pretty much knew who you were going to fight right away. They've showed that clip of you meeting Jiri backstage in Abu Dhabi saying, well, you're next. So what do you make of his skill set? A lot of people online compare him. It's like a light heavyweight Tony Ferguson. Just he's kind of an out there character. He's very flashy in the octagon. So what do you make of his skill set?
He's you know, striker, a unique fighter, you know, unpredictable. And me with my experience, and man, I like the challenge. I want to prove to everybody, all you guys, all the fans, and most of all myself, you know, if, you know, am I ready? Am I the real champion? And I'm just going to go after this guy, you know. And I saw that he was there cutting the weight, and he was the next in the line. As a fighter, I know how good he is, and I like the competition. I like the challenge.
He was in here earlier, and he said in the year off he's had between fights, he's worked a lot on his grappling and his wrestling because he knows that was his biggest weakness. So are you expecting maybe a different Jiri in there, knowing that he's preparing for you specifically?
For sure. is gonna be different. Could be better for him or worse, because he was doing really good doing what he was doing. Right now, he's gonna change it. Who knows if he's gonna change it? I'm prepared for that jury. I'm prepared for the jury that I saw it. What he's gonna do? Trying for takedown, or we don't know. Like I say, he's unpredictable, and I'm unpredictable because when I'm going for takedown, but start defending those takedown, those hands start hitting you like happened with Blachowicz. Got him with the left hook, and then he start, oh shit, what's going on now? You know what I mean? So we see, man. I'm just excited to see what's going on. I'm this type of fighter, that I like the challenge. I like to see what's in the table,
Last one for me. I know you're not really looking past Jiri, but I feel like every interview you do now, people are always asking you when you're going to stop fighting. Do you regret maybe saying the word retirement? I know there's some athletes in other sports that when they announce they're going to retire before the season, they regret it by the end because they have to answer that question over and over and over and over now.
Yeah, I say it's a possibility, right? I never really say I'm going to retire in November. I say it's a possibility, if be a great thing at 43 years old in New York. But, man, it's not regretting because I never say for sure. And it doesn't matter, like, what you want to now, it could change it, could change it. Who knows, after this fight or after the next fight. Who knows how long I'm going to fight, if I'm going to be fighting 45 years old like Randy Couture. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. I don't have any injury, like, major injury, because we all do a little bit, after 20 years in the game. But, like, I don't know. I'm just living the moment, man. I just living the moment with tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of itself, you know what I mean? But people keep asking when you retire or this or that. I'm like, I guess that come because of the question. The guy keep questioning, you think you retire and everything, so I just say that, and like, it happens all over the place,
And going off that, I mean, if you win this fight and maybe the next one, and you do start having real thoughts of that, do you think the UFC is going to try to kind of push back? It seems historically they don't love when a champion vacates the belt. In your position, given your age, it would be understandable, but it kind of resets the division. John Jones did it, and it's only getting stable again now. Do you think they'll try to fight hard to keep you around?
I don't do it for that. I'm not, I'm not trying to be like a baby over here and say, I'm going to retire so they can push me. It just was a situation that I say, man. I say that, but I even say, like, I don't want to be like Cerudo that he retired and then want to fight everybody else now, It's like, I can see, I'm not talking shit about him. I can see, like, he wanted to fight, he didn't want to retire, And me, always gonna. I tell my wife, I'm always gonna make this decision at home, No matter what happened in a fight, win or lose, I probably never gonna make that decision in the octagon. I'm going home, and the day that I don't feel like I want to train and I want to do this camp and I want to, keep going, or because you can feel it, like in the training. See, like in the training room, you can feel like, man, I'm not training. I'm not like I used to be anymore, and that could be it. But like, for now, I'm feeling like a champ.
And going off what you guys were talking about earlier about Jiri saying, he might adjust his approach to the fights based around you. Is that already a win for you in a way that he is thinking so much about what you're going to do in there that he's changing himself instead of just fighting his fight regardless of the opponent?
No, my winning will be in the octagon. I don't believe anything those guys say, my opponents say. Never believe your enemy. Not my enemy, just going over there, and I'm excited to fight. And man, I'm expecting the unpredictable Jiri, the very good striker, move around, move his head a lot, and we prepare very good for that. And every fight is different. For Blachowicz was one thing. For Thiago Santos another thing, because Thiago is just stay back and throw fire, fast punches. So you just adjust a little bit on your game, but at the end of the day, you can't change it that much, right? You can't change it that much. Like you see me changing after a few losses that I had, and you see the way I've been fighting lately in my fights, you know. But it's not much. It's just adjustment that I did in my own game. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to be that big of change. I think it's going to be pretty much the same Jiri.
And what do you think this fight means for your legacy? I mean, a title defense would be awesome, but you see some of the all-time greats in the sport. They're able to beat guys who started the sport before them, who came up at the same time, and then guys who started years after them, and that's kind of the case with this fight. If you can beat a guy like Jiri, who is considered maybe a different generation from you, do you think that does a lot for your legacy?
Every fight, every win, you know, I become a champion. I was, you know, also already in the rise like one of a great fighter, great warriors that go over there and give it all, you know. I don't, it's hard for me to promote, come over here and push guys and throw chair and buses and stuff like that to promote fight, but I'm a fighter, you know. Everybody saw my fight. I'm going after finishing. And legacy, yeah, the more you win, the greater you become. You know, but like I try to take away that from my mind. I try to just enjoy the fight, do my best, and that's what I did in the camp. That's what I'm doing right now in the weight cut. Should be perfect, and going over there and fight my best. I'm not looking forward to. I'm just happy, man, at everything that happens in my life. You know. To be here and 42 years old, be a champ of the world and defending my belt, just go over there and just have fun.
And I know you've said already that Jan Blachowicz will probably be next if you win this fight. Do you feel like that is, you know, the certain next option, or there's this fight between Anthony Smith and Magomed Ankalaev coming up on July 30th that maybe with an impressive win, do you think they could be the next guy?
I don't choose opponent. You know, you can ask Dana White, like, when did I say anything about opponent? Whoever, that's not my job. You know, I keep saying that. So when you start doing that, you got too much on your plate, you know. Now I want to manage fight, you know, and do all that. For me, I'm a fighter. But like I say to Jiri over there, right after the fight, I say, you next, me, you the next. But, you know, if the UFC come up with some other guy, I will say, yes, let's go. And I say Blachowicz because Racket was, you know, talking. He was even talking shit to Jiri, saying, you know, he should be the next in the line. And if he beat Blachowicz, for sure he was going to be the next in the line. And Blachowicz was the number 2, right? Number 2 contender, and he won that fight. And you know, that's a common. That's what I say as a common sense. Like, you win, you're going to be the next in the line. But it's not my job. Whatever the boss say, man, I'm here. Hey, let's go. Let's do it.
You fought almost 3 different decades, 20 years career, and 42 years old, the oldest UFC champion of the world. So would you give some advice to young fighters in the back home? Would you give them some advice to inspire them?
My advice is to enjoy the journey, man. Don't take it too serious, you know, because when you start thinking too much about, all, you know, the guys just ask over here about your legacy, about the title, and about all that, that's like it's a lot in your mind. Just go over there and do your very best every day in training, and enjoy, man. If you don't like to do this, go find something else. But if you like to do this, just enjoy the moment, you know, and go over there and you know, UFC is like I think Dana is a big part of this, but UFC is like it's so different than boxing, you know, because you see like Gilbert Durinho, he lost that fight, and that was like a winning for him. That was a big win for him. He become like so. You just go over there and do your very best and fight like a warrior, and you're going to get your reward. That's what my advice would be, you know.
Your opponent, Jiri Prochazka, has a 12 winning streak, and 11 is a KO, and you have 6 winning streak, and a 5 is before the time. So how do you see the result of the fight? Are you planning 25 minutes or less?
It's different, you know. 15 winning streak, not in UFC. It's very hard to do in UFC, you know. It's very hard to do in UFC. I don't know, when I fought John Jones, what it was like
Anthony Johnson.
No, when I fought John Jones, I was coming up of 14, 15. I was like that, something like that too. Like 13, 14 fights winning streak in a row, you know, with many knockouts, because it's not UFC. It's hard to do that with UFC. So that doesn't mean much. You know what I mean? I know he's a great fighter. I know he's a tough fighter, but it doesn't mean like it'd be hard to do 15 winning streak in here.
Last few fights, you always been, underdog and always fight versus the strikers, such as Taila Santos, Anthony Smith, so on. So what's the difference between them and Jiri Prochazka?
What do you mean between the fighters?
Differences.
Different style. Great fighters, right? Thiago Santos just as dangerous. Anthony Smith, Jan Blachowicz, he fought he beat one of the greatest middleweight, Adesanya. I thought that was the toughest fight for him to beat, and they're great fighters. They're just different style, and so excited for that. Yes.
So, which gym did you prepare for this fight? You always making camp in your own gym, but did you go to any other huge gym or just stay in your gym?
My gym, yeah. Teixeira MMA. That's it, man. We're building champions there. Next one, Alex Pereira. I think is we have a great team there. We have Wellington Tuma coming up, and soon we're gonna make some noise. It's just the beginning for that gym,
Okay, but tell me the reason why so many fighters, even cross over the border, join to the town with a good talent. But why are you always prepared to fight in your gym?
Why? I went all over the world. I trained with everybody. Holland, trained with Peter Arts. I trained. You name it, I trained. Go ATT, train with. So it got to a point that I was like, man, I'm just gonna relax. Just gonna. The first gym that I opened was like a garage. It was 2,000 square feet, open like a warehouse, and I see my friends tell me that, Glover, I see people start training in a garage, and then after they go to UFC, they go to bigger gym. You did the opposite. You open the garage over here, go back to the. I say, hey, man, I call my coach, Fanelli Feliz. He lives in Denver. He's a great boxing coach. And I asked him, hey, would you train me? And the rest I'll figure out. And just to be home, comfortable with my the environment, at home, relaxing, chill, and the people that I train, and help me out for the gym, it's amazing. A lot of people thought it was not going to work out, and for a while there, I thought, because I did that gym after Jones, and I trained for Phil Davis in there, and I lost that fight, and for a while there, I was like, maybe they're right, but let me keep going, let me do this, and it's working.
Okay, thank you so much. Muito obrigado.
Okay.
You actually had a 20-fight win streak when you fought John Jones.
See, yeah, it's different, fighting it's different. And it's hard to put 20 fight winning streak in UFC. You know what I mean? How many Khabib had? Like 10? 10 fight?
Yeah.
Khabib was 10 in UFC straight. Yeah. John Jones too. You know he got, but like what 10 too is hard to do. Hard to do, man. 10, 15 fights over here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anderson had the record with 16.
16, yeah. Anderson Silva, the greatest of all time, right?
Usman's sitting at 15 right now.
Yeah. I mean, but it's not easy. You know what I mean? I didn't say it's not possible. It's not easy.
And Joanna was in here, and she said, I'm almost 35. I'm old now. You're almost 10 years older than her. So did you expect to be competing this late into your career, past 40 at this point?
No, like talk about retire. I say that before. I say, hey, man, I'm 32 years old. I signed with UFC because when I was in Brazil waiting for my green card, I was like, people say, everybody, you think yourself, I'm losing my prime over here. I'm 28 years old, 29, 30 years old, and I'm like beating everybody and thinking like, man, this is like, because I shake Dana White's hand after Seungwoo fight in 2006, and he said, get your situation figured out, and we sign you right away, man. And that was 2006. I was 26, 27 years old at that fight, and I thought I was losing the prime, but when I signed with 32 years old, I say, hey, man, if I fight in UFC until I'm 40, I retired. And, hey, it's too hard to retire, you know?
You're preparing Alex Pereira, and how do you see a future of the Alex Pereira?
Alex is a workhorse, man. Like I say, Rio recognize Rio. Soon as he come to that gym, he say, that's what I want to train. And perfect fit, right? He's a striker. He's the best kickboxer that wrestle. You know what I mean? Because very hard to take down, very strong, and he's a workhorse. I believe that he's gonna have a tough fight ahead of him. I believe he's gonna win, and he's gonna win the title. I truly believe that.
The truth is, if he won the Sean Strickland, he's going to fight title next.
Say it again?
If Alex Pereira win the Sean Strickland, what do you mean? So he's going to fight title next, Israel Adesanya?
I don't know. I mean, that's what we think. That's what we hope so, because it's right there. And Adesanya and him will be a great fight. That's all depends on, the whole situation, Dana and Adesanya, if he really wants to take that fight.
Because Alex Pereira beat after Israel Adesanya 2 times. One is knockout in the same year. So what do you think about Alex Pereira when he will meet the Israel Adesanya?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it like Adesanya fought him with the kickboxing gloves, and he know how hard he hit.
Yeah.
And with MMA gloves, it's like, who knows? I don't know if he's gonna take that fight that easy. I think he's gonna have a conversation with Dana White trying to get away from that fight. Because when you lose to a guy 2 times and you know how dangerous he is, how hard he hit, and Adesanya best. Looking at Adesanya against Blachowicz, his best chance to beat Alex is stand-up, and he already lost 2 times, so it's going to be tough for him to fight Alex.
Yeah, Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya almost cleared of the middleweight division, so I think only man stayed in there, and Alex Pereira might be winner of the Sean Strickland, 1 more fight, and after that he should meet Israel Adesanya. So what do you think about it? He deserved it? Will he deserve it in a 2-3 fight, 1 or 2 fight win after he's going to meet Israel Adesanya?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We just working, man. We're just doing our work, He beat in Strickland, and hopefully he fight with Adesanya. If not, we got another one, It's not like, we see. We're not worried about it too much.
Hi, Valentina. So you almost dominated the whole flyweight division. So will you, if you win this fight, will you go after the bantamweight?
You know, every possibility is still there. Maybe bantamweight, but still a lot of new contenders rising into my division. So any of these options would work for me.
Or will you ever fight against Amanda Nunes again?
Amanda Nunes, Juliana Peña, whoever.
Hey, Valentina. I know you live life for the experiences, and you like to do all sorts of different things. So getting to fight over here on this type of pay-per-view, how much do you appreciate this type of moment?
I appreciate every single opportunity what I have fighting under the biggest organization in the world in mixed martial arts, UFC, and definitely being part of the kind of like history, right? First pay-per-view in Asia, in Singapore, it's something big. The same when I fought in Jacksonville, when after this shutdown globally, it was the first event, and it was super energetic, and it felt this energy when I stepped into the octagon. All fans, all public, it's I feel that. And I hope it's going to be the same this Sunday here in Singapore.
And we had Taila in here earlier, and she said you're as close to the perfect fighter as it gets, but you're not perfect, and her team have found flaws in your game through this training camp. What do you think she might be talking about in terms of your flaws, and do you think maybe she's just telling herself that because she has to tell herself something to win the fight?
I think it's kind of like hypnotizing herself, trying to convince there is something that should be, like everyone is not perfect. Definitely not everyone is perfect, but it's kind of like, all my opponents, they were saying the same over and over. It's like no one is unbeatable. She has some hole in her games, but once they step inside the octagon, they feel the opposite side. They feel the difference between the fighters, and this is the most important. She's trying to hypnotize herself to convince that there should be, but she's wrong. It's not gonna work for her.
And people might ask, you're at the point in your title reign where, they're looking everywhere for challenges for you and stuff. What is the daily motivation like now compared to what it was earlier in your reign? Have you had to change things to motivate yourself, or are these fights, no matter who it's against, do you still get up for each one of them the same?
Actually, being martial artist, this is my biggest motivation. My family, my teammates, my team. It says everything. I don't need to find extra motivation, go be hunger or something like that. I'm in martial arts for so many years. I started when I was 5, 29 years fighting, competing, and doing training daily, and it's kind of it's teach me that I don't have to have something extra to motivate myself, because being martial arts and compete here, it's motivation by itself.
Is it possible, though, part of the reason why you're talking about maybe going to another division, a second belt, is this one of the new things that you can find for yourself, though?
I think it's mostly because people want that, and it was discussions through the years. Our trilogy with Amanda, now people speaking about Juliana, and no matter what outcome gonna be in their fight in July, either works for me, because it's kind of will be interesting fight against Amanda, and we have history with Juliana because few years ago I submitted her, and so it's gonna be either option is gonna work for me.
I don't know if this is a stupid question or not, because I've just seen people talk about it. There's no way you could move down in weight, right? This is the lowest you can fight at?
To move down, it means struggling and and being hard weight cut. I have to think about it.
I'm curious, speaking of down a weight class, the UFC released that video of you and Joanna having kind of a moment in the hallway. I know you guys have same management and stuff now. Just going back to when you fought her, to the relationship you guys have now, what do you just have to say about that?
I know Joanna through the years. We shared our history in Muay Thai. We fought like about 3 times in Muay Thai in 3 different world championships. Then in UFC. So it's kind of like it's mutual respect. No matter what we fought and how it was, everything, I respect her as a fighter, hard worker, and everything what she's doing. And it's great to like fight in the same card, but now in this time, not like as opponents, but it's just a good feeling. It's good feeling like when you see a good fighter and you respect this fighter, it's kind of like, it's great to have these kind of fighters on a fight card, UFC 275 in Singapore.
Do you hope to see her win against Weili? And I know Weili has said some things about you in the past, so do you hope Joanna beats her?
I think their first fight, Joanna won. And it's going to be different fight, like not 5 rounds, 3 rounds. And I think Joanna has everything to prove that the first time it was in her decision. Yeah.
Speaking of Taila, before she got to the UFC, she had a lot of knockout victories on the regional circuit, but it hasn't really translated to the UFC. She's only had 1 stoppage win, and that was her last one. Why do you think her power maybe hasn't translated to the UFC octagon? Is it just level of competition? Do you think she's not been comfortable inside the UFC? Like, where do you think her power hasn't translated?
Oh, definitely, it's a level of competition because we are, as I mentioned before, we are speaking of the best league in the world of mixed martial arts. Here, you cannot find like easy opponents, easy matchups, and there is no just weak fighters. There are best here, best of the best in the world.
And then you had mentioned there's a lot of other title challengers coming up through the division, in your division, and then we have a lot of young fighters, like Erin Blanchfield said she wants to beat you specifically. So it seems like these young fighters, that being the one to beat you has become almost as important as winning the title. They want to be the ones to end your reign. So what do you make of all of these young fighters using you as the benchmark as opposed to the title?
It's amazing feeling, and I really appreciate that. And especially if I can motivate someone, for me it's a huge achievement already. And I continue my martial arts. I continue be myself, the way I live the life. And if that thing can inspire someone, it's kind of the best feeling in the world.
How do you see the results of the fight? Would you want to do the fight at 25 minutes or less?
To finish as soon as I can.
You've known now for a while that you've been preparing to fight Valentina Shevchenko, who many people view as the best female fighter in the world. So now that it is fight week, how has camp been in preparation to fight Valentina?
Você já está sabendo há algum tempo, né, que você vai enfrentar a Valentina, que é considerada a melhor do mundo. Como é que foi o camp e como é que está sendo para você essa semana?
O campo foi muito bom, né? A gente fez uma estratégia aí toda voltada para cima dela, né? Estudando bastante todas as falhas. E essa semana aí perdendo peso, treinando, né? Mais mentalizando agora, mais mentalização também, que é bem importante.
Yeah, camp was great. You know, there's plenty of footage out there for Valentina to do tape study and everything, so that's a good thing. And this week is mainly just focusing on the weight cut and mentalizing things more than anything else.
A lot of fans label Valentina as the perfect fighter, that she doesn't have many weaknesses. So since you've gone back and watched her fights live, how do you rate her skills? Is she a perfect fighter like fans say?
Muitos fãs consideram a Valentina uma atleta perfeita. Você agora que teve a oportunidade de estudar ela para uma luta mesmo, você considera ela uma atleta perfeita ou você conseguiu localizar coisas para trabalhar?
Com certeza, ela é uma atleta dura, inteligente, né? Assisti várias lutas dela, uma atleta forte, mas eu creio que ela não é invencível, né? Então ela tem falhas sim, a gente estudou, achamos essas falhas dela e a gente vai impor o nosso jogo em cima dessas falhas.
Yeah, she's about as close as you can get to a perfect fighter, but nobody is perfect. There's always room for improvements for everybody, and doing the tape study, we're able to locate a few things that we can work on, and that's basically the strategy has been put around those flaws that we found, and that's what I'm going to impose on Saturday.
And a lot of experts will label Valentina as this striker, this high-level Muay Thai fighter, this kickboxer, but she does have a lot of submission wins, and she finishes a lot of opponents on the canvas. So how would you rate her grappling and submission skills, as well as her striking?
Todo mundo fala muito da Valentina como atleta de Muay Thai, né, que é de super alto nível de trocação, mas a gente vê que nos resultados ela tem muitas finalizações e trabalha muito com grappling. Como que você considera o nível dela de chão comparado com o da trocação?
Ela é muito boa, né, no Muay Thai, né? Ela gosta também de levar umas quedas de judô, levar a luta para o solo, mas eu vejo ela mais forte na trocação. E eu também vim do Muay Thai, né? E hoje eu me sinto super bem na luta de solo. Então eu vejo que ela também se sai bem ali nas duas áreas, mas eu creio que eu tenho nível maior do que ela ali no solo.
Yeah, she has a very strong background in Muay Thai, but you can watch her even doing Muay Thai. There's a lot of throws in there. Her style has been sort of focused on that even since the Muay Thai days. I'm also from a Muay Thai background, but I think, similar to her, nowadays I might even feel more comfortable grappling than striking. So it's going to be interesting. She does have a decent judo game as well, but I think it's going to be about who can impose their game more than anything.
And finally, before you got into the UFC, you had a lot of knockout wins, and then you had a handful of decisions in a row until your last fight. So do you think your fellow fighters and fans and analysts are overlooking the power that you have, considering you only have the one stoppage since joining the UFC?
Olhando a tua carreira antes do UFC, né, você teve muitos nocautes, muitas finalizações, e depois que entrou na organização, você foi conseguir acabar uma luta, né, antes do tempo recentemente. Você acha que os analistas e o pessoal está, de repente, ignorando um pouco tua capacidade de acabar uma luta por causa desses resultados por decisão no UFC?
Olha, creio que não. Eu vim ali estava buscando, né, uma vitória por via fácil no UFC, e foi nessa minha última luta, né, que eu consegui. E no começo eu também estava um pouco de segurança, mais nervosa, então eu tentei a cada luta, eu estava buscando melhorar. Então eu consegui entrar sempre mais solta, mais leve e melhorando. Então eu estava super solta, super focada, então eu consegui a finalização ali, entrar e fazer o que eu queria fazer.
I think it's a lot about feeling comfortable in your new environment, and that took a little while in the UFC. There are a lot of changes, throughout the time that I've been in the UFC, and now I think I finally found my place. I found my game and how I can work it in the UFC, and it's probably the first of many.
Hi, testing. Hi, Taila. You have a very difficult match up against the champion. She's regarded as one of the best flyweights to ever do this. So, and you're also the heavy underdog. Do you think that gives you extra motivation going into this?
Você está indo contra uma super campeã, né, que está reconhecida aí como uma das maiores favoritas no card. Isso te dá alguma motivação a mais, ser a zebra?
Com certeza, né? Ser a zebra, isso não é novidade para mim. Nas minhas outras lutas eu também fui julgada como a zebra. E eu estou lutando com as melhores, é isso que todo atleta busca e almeja, né? Tá no topo e lutando com os melhores.
Yeah, I've been the underdog for most of my fights in the UFC, and that's a good thing. I think for me, it's as you said, an extra motivation, but doesn't really matter when you're getting there. We're gonna fight the same no matter what people see.
And how do you beat her? Because if you play a stand-up game with her, she outpoints a lot of her opponents. Do you need to win by KO or submission?
Como você vê uma vitória sobre ela, né? Falou que na trocação é um negócio que fica complicado, porque ela, em geral, consegue ganhar dos oponentes no volume e tudo, né? Nem tanto por nocaute, mas é uma luta complicada de pé, que de repente você teria que nocautear para conseguir ganhar.
Então, a gente fez uma estratégia, né, bem completa. Estudamos bastante as lutas, o jogo dela. A gente fez uma estratégia bem completa ali em cima das falhas dela. E é isso, eu vou entrar para impor o meu jogo e colocar em prática tudo que a gente treinou.
Yeah, it's never an easy fight, but you can watch it on Sunday morning here, and you're gonna see the strategy that has been put around, her flaws and everything. There's not much that I can say right now, but watch it and you'll see.
Okay, obrigado. Thank you.
Before we get into the fights, did you end up finding your luggage that got lost on the way over here?
Yes, it got here 3 days after. So, but it's good. It's good. I always get dirty, so I always have some extra stuff in my carry-on. So,
Sure.
but yeah, Mikey Brown wasn't that lucky, so he had to buy everything. So yeah.
Did they find his stuff too?
Yeah, of course. Six pieces were missing, but we got everything. So lucky us. And the funny thing is that our flight got cancelled, the first one. Then we lost our luggage. They lost our luggage, but we're here, so it's good. It's good.
Well, kind of going off of that, how has preparation for this fight camp been? I think this is only your 4th 3-round fight in the UFC. So have you enjoyed preparing for a 3-round fight as opposed to a 5-round fight?
It is. There was not a big difference, and same like people were saying that I should get an easy fight. What does it mean to get an easy fight? Fight is a fight. It's a cherry on the top of the birthday cake, and the preparation is hard. The hard work is done so many weeks before, and very often people don't get it. And I've been training not only like 8, 12 weeks, like the camps usually look like. I've been training for this fight like 4 or 5 months at American Top Team only, And in October last year, I decided to be back. So I started training more and more in Poland because I took a longer break. I had some things to do, to be done, to take care of in Poland. And I couldn't go back to the States. So in the middle of January, I was back to American Top Team and put in hell of a performance, I'm in the best shape ever. Until the end of March, I didn't know I was going to fight, but I was training like I was going to fight 13 times a week, every week. So you can imagine how much of effort, sacrificing, tears, blood, sweat, up and downs I put into this camp, and I feel in the best shape ever. But as you know, it's all about this one night in Singapore, about this one morning, this one fight. So I'm really looking forward, and I really believe that I will feel great and rock and roll. I'm ready for anything and everything. So, but yeah, I'm in the best shape ever, and I know Weili Zhang is as well.
It seems like since your last fight and you took that time off, various interviews, you would say, like, I hope to run that back with her, or if someone else has the title, I'd like to fight them. When she did lose to Rose in Madison Square Garden, did you just assume that she was most likely next for you and you just got into camp preparing for her specifically, or did you actually wait for a name to start preparing for someone?
Big fights only, and big fights only, and she's one of the best. She made it to the league. She was the champ. Me neither. So we made it, And she's the best. Even after her 2 losses, she proved that she's one of the best, one of the toughest in this division. So I know there's lots of talk about another girls who should get the title shot, but there are girls, and we show up. Me, Weili, Rose, and we put on hell of a fights every time, And this is what this business is about, It's not about boring fights. It's not about just fights. It's all about being the best every single time you step there. That's the thing. So I signed a new contract. I'm happy with, but I'm happy to get the fight of the year again, this year, 2 years later.
I don't know if you heard, but Dana White did an interview today, and he said the winner of this will fight for the title next. And I think you obviously said that if you win, you want to fight for the title.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I knew that. I knew about that from my last fight, because, yeah, actually, I knew that. So I would not sign agreement for this fight if I didn't know that I was going to be the next after winning on Sunday. So, yeah. I knew that, and I'm not surprised. It's good, man. I feel like we both deserve. It's surprising what happened in the fight between Rose and Carla, but what? It is what it is, you know. It is what it is.
Joanna, how big a difference do you think having this fight at 3 rounds will be from 5 rounds?
Oh, definitely. You know, sometimes the first round is like we read each other, but here's no time to do this, you know. So from the first seconds, I will have to put in work, and we will have to play my game. I will. From the first seconds of the fight, I will have to do my best, you know. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Was there any conversation with the UFC about making this 5 rounds or not really?
No, I know the fans want it, and there was an idea, but we ended up fighting 3 rounds. It's also because of the 2 title fights, you know, on this card, and yeah, that's okay.
When you think about legacy and you say about putting on the best fights, obviously your first fight was one of the best of all time. So do you think like, okay, I win this one on Saturday or Sunday morning, and then in the future we'll do a trilogy fight and it will be the biggest thing in women's MMA history?
Let's see after Sunday, you know. But when I think of legacy, like yesterday or day before, because I've done so much media, so many interviews, and after Rose lost to Carla, the media went crazy, you know. So I've done really like maybe 40 interviews, 50 interviews with this fight week since last Carla's fight and Rose's fight. But I realized yesterday that next year I will hit 2nd decade from the time I started doing martial arts, and I'm turning 35 this year, you know. I'm old, but I'm like, dude, it's more than half of my life, you know. So when people questioning my break, last 2 years break, I'm like, dude, I've been like, I'm a hard worker, you know. I'm a hustler, and sports-wise, business-wise, I'm a hustler, and I needed that for myself. But legacy, winning over Weili Zhang, one of the greatest, going for the belt, and start defending my belt, the new belt, you know, once again.
Last one for me. Do you think that's something that younger fighters should maybe be aware of, that actually it's okay to take some breaks sometimes and you don't have to go 100 miles an hour for your entire career?
Yeah, I always tell people that you can't never stop, you know. You can slow down, but you can't never stop. So I slowed down. I was training every single day, but I just haven't fought, you know. I had things to do because I'm full of life, full of passion, hobbies, things to do. And I had no time because I was very active, you know, and in the octagon. But, you know, you don't know how much time is left in your life. So I don't want to waste any minute of my life, any second of my life. So I just decided to do things and make them the best way I can do, and get it done. And now I have time to be here fighting in Singapore. But I knew that after this long break, I was going to have to prepare longer, and this is what I've done, you know, with my team, the American top team, and I'm very, very proud of myself, the team, Mikey Brown, Katel Kubis, ATT Nation, all the people, and I'm the winner already, you know, for myself. That's the most important thing, because of the amount of work. But any advice for fighters? Yeah, sometimes it's good to take a break, you know, step back a little bit and look at the big picture. Look at the big picture, because sometimes it gets so narrow, you don't see everything.
Quick question, Joanna. So if you win this fight, so when would you back to the octagon, and what would it be, like trilogy fight versus Zhang Weili or title shot?
Carla Esparza is holding the belt, so she's after I will get my hand raised on Sunday in Singapore, I will go for the belt and fighting Carla Esparza. What's after? I don't know. Like I'm focused on this fight with Weili Zhang, and maybe on another step. I'm planning next step, you know, to fight for the belt, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Trilogy, I don't know.
Yeah, when would you back to the octagon if you win the fight?
I would love to be back as soon as possible. You know, it depends on how my body is going to feel after the fight. But Madison Square Garden or Fight Island sound good to me. You know, but I like to plan my life. You know, I adjust my life to what's happening in my life every single day. You know what I mean? Like, I have a plan. I like to have a plan. I like to stick to the plan and make work and work for it to make it happen. And I don't know, but for me, winning in Singapore is the most important thing right now. But fighting for the belt at the MSG, where I defended my belt back in the day, where I lost the belt, sounds good to me.
How do you see the results of the fight? You know, the last time you fight versus Zhang Weili is the 5-round craziest fight, woman fight history in the world, seeing the fight. And this time, would you give the decision to the referee's hand?
Of course, I don't want to leave it in the judge's hands, but sometimes, you know, you not always get what you wish for, you know. I wish for knockout, I wish for submission, but it's not that easy, you know, especially at this level where I'm at, you know, and Weili Zhang. So it's going to be the toughest fight in my fighting career, but I'm ready, you know. I'm ready.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joanna, right here. To your right. Speaking of your future plans, you told me yesterday you want to do the Dakar Rally. Can you explain what that is to people who may not know and why you want to do this?
Dakar Rally, I did my racing debut as a driver, you know. So if I will do one half amateur racing, I will get my pro license, and you know, Dakar race is like, holy moly! The craziest thing is that you can't take shower. You know, this is what scares me because I'm a very clean person. But you know, I love doing things. And back in the day when I was a teenager, when I was a little girl, I dreamed, for example, about trip to the States, and I was visualizing New York, Manhattan. And I was like, oh, you're never gonna make it, kid. You know, it's too far, it's too expensive. And after so many years, my picture was hanging at Times Square, you know. And so every dream can come true. And now I have all the money. So, I mean, like, the money I haven't had back in the day. So I can really do things I wanted to do when I was a teenager or when I was younger. And I just want to challenge myself, you know. I'm very competitive and I want to challenge myself. I love motorsport and I see myself doing Dakar race. It's very hard race, isn't easy. You have to, the temperature, the climate, everything is so hard, so difficult, but I just love to challenge myself, you know. And it's something I wanted to do for a long time.
When is that?
What?
When is it?
When?
Yeah.
It's every year.
Okay.
It's every year.
Do you
So
know
I
around
need
what
to be
time?
retired because it's also very dangerous, you know. So last time I was before my racing debut, I had like a training, and my car flipped. Flipped, you say? Flipped. It was kind of funny, you know, scary, but oh gosh. So I did test, like, if I really want to do it or it's just my wishy-washy. But I was like, holy moly, it's different than fighting, you know, the emotions and how you have to be well prepared for this. It's amazing, you know. I have tons of respect to all kinds of sports and athletes, but this is amazing, you know. This is what I really want to do.
And we talk about your legacy in this division, in this sport. You haven't fought for 27 months, and only just now, Carla Esparza tied your record for the most wins in the division with 10. And you have still the lead on many other records. What does that kind of show about the work you put in before you took this layoff?
That I was super active, you know, that I was the champ for a reason, that I was very dominant and dedicated, and I'm still, you know, and they can take all the I don't know, records. I will just go there and do my thing, you know. Became the strawweight champ for the second time, and they had their hasn't born. They had their hasn't been born a girl who could tie my record, yet. So yeah, let's see. In the strawweight division, of
First of all, welcome to Singapore. How's camp been? What are your thoughts leading into this rematch with Joanna? Was this the fight you had expected after your last loss to Rose? Were you expecting to rematch Joanna so quickly? And just how's fight camp been?
就是说整个备战怎么样？然后你觉得你和乔安娜的2番战怎么样？
整个备战非常非常的顺利。我跟九安的2番战，我觉得肯定会是一场非常非常精彩的比赛，因为这个关系到下一场的挑战权，所以我觉得我们俩都会拼尽全力去打出漂亮的比赛给观众看。
Yeah, definitely the camp went very smooth. So everything is fine. Everything was on track right now, and also my second fight with Joanna will be very exciting. And this fight will definitely involve in the who will be the number 1 contender. So I'm very excited about it.
I was going to ask you if you had heard Dana White gave an interview today, and he said that the winner of this will fight for the title next, whether it's you or Joanna. So I'm curious, did you hear that? And does that add any extra pressure to this fight?
他说就早上咱们接受采访的时候，那个John Morgan 已经跟你说了嘛，就是你们这场比赛白大拿确认就是已经是要这个下一个去挑战冠军的人。你知道这个消息了，然后你感觉怎么样？
知道这个消息以后非常开心，感觉自己离腰带又更近了一步。
Yeah, I know the news this morning when I'm doing the interview with Morgan, and yeah, I'm very excited. Definitely, it's a great news. I'm very excited.
What type of approach to the fight do you expect from Joanna? This is only her 4th 3-round fight. She's taking 27 months off. So what are you expecting from her in this rematch?
对，这次就是2番战嘛，就是会有一些不同。一个是乔安娜2年时间没有比赛了，然后另外的话，这也是乔安娜为数不多的3回的比赛。你觉得乔安娜会怎么打？
我觉得肯定会更积极，因为3回合比赛时间过得非常快，没有时间等你热身，等你慢热，所以我觉得这一场比赛肯定是一个节奏非常快的比赛。
Yeah, I think Joanna definitely will pick up the pace because this is a 3-round fight rather than a 5-round, and I think she will pick up the pace rather than what she used to do, and she definitely will become more fearless.
And she had said in her last fight she had a game plan, but when she was fighting you, she wanted to become a fighter, and she just kept kind of going forward, looking for that back and forth war. And now she expects like a surgical performance in there where she can be technical and take you apart. So are you going to change your approach from last fight entering this rematch?
他说之前乔安娜在接受采访的时候就是说，上一场比赛的话，当他对上你了之后，他就是想跟你去火拼，就没有按照原来的这个想法去打。然后这场比赛他赛前采访也说，就是他希望这个比赛能够打得像手术刀一般精准。然后你是怎么想？
我觉得我也很期待周日的比赛，因为我觉得打什么，或者是出现什么样的结果，或者是怎么样，还是需要在8角笼里用实力说话。
Yeah, no matter how the fight goes, actually, no matter what kind of strategy or what kind of techniques she will use, the stronger will be the winner of the fight on Sunday morning.
A question. So last 2 years you're preparing for fights with the Arizona with the Henry Cejudo, who's a former champion. Would you use some wrestling skills in this fight? Would you prefer some wrestling?
他说就是过去一段时间，因为就是上一个比赛备战嘛，就是你和这个塞胡多他们在美国进行备战。那你觉得这场比赛的话，你会用一些摔跤的技术去对着对手？
肯定会啊，因为 MMA 它本来就是一个非常全面的运动，而且我跟亨瑞学了很多摔跤的技术，如果不用的话，肯定很可惜。
Definitely, I will use some wrestling in this match. I learned a lot from Henry, and if I don't use it, that will be a waste.
And one more question. So when your fights are happening in the Asian area, you're undefeated. So in happening in Singapore, in the UFC 275, it's the biggest event in Asian area history. So how confident do you win this fight?
他说就是这场比赛在新加坡嘛，是在亚洲打的，你在亚洲至今保持着全胜的战绩，所以说在新加坡这场比赛的话，你有多大的信心能够去获胜？
来到新加坡比赛，我觉得就相当于自己的主场一样，因为每次我在主场比赛的时候都是第一回合终结的，对。
So yeah, fighting Singapore just like fighting in my home country. So every time I fight in my home country, I got the first round finish.
I think the winner of this fight, winner of this match, will be fighting next in the title shot. So when would you back in the octagon again? If you win this fight.
他说这场比赛的胜者的话，应该是能够去挑战冠军嘛。那你如果赢下这场比赛的话，你想什么时候再打下一场比赛？
我觉得拿下比赛以后，因为我拿下比赛以后就会去美国训练，我觉得任何时间都可以。
Yeah, so for the next fight, if I win Joanna, and I will go to States directly. So anytime I can fight the next fight.
How do you see the results of the fight? Is it 3 rounds or less?
他说这场比赛的结果你是怎么想的？是打3回合呢，还是说时间不用这么多？
我不想用那么长的时间，我也不想打满。
I don't think it will be 3 rounds, and I don't want to fight for 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Here. I'm just curious, you were on a 20-fight winning streak before the past 2 losses to Rose. How have these results of the past 2 fights affected your confidence coming into this?
他就是说在输给罗斯之前嘛，你是保持着一个20场连胜的这样的情况。那你现在经历了2连败之后的话，会不会对你信心有所打击？
没有，我觉得，不管成功也好，还是失败也好，都是我们的人生的一个经历和一个体验。然后我们从失利当中吸取教训，吸取经验，然后如何让我们变得更强大，这是最重要的，而不是说是遇到困难或问题以后就气馁啊什么的。我们想着要如何战胜困难。
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the loss will be pulling back for me for the life. You know, I think those 2 losses give me a lot of experience, and life is about experience. So I experienced a lot and I learned from the loss a lot. So I don't think that's something that you really looking down if you lose to somebody, but it's a life experience.
而且这也是 MMA 的魅力。
And this is also the excitement of MMA. Everything can happen.
And what do you make of Carla Esparza as a champion? Some might say she would be a better matchup for you than a Rose or a Joanna. What do you think of how your styles match up?
因为现在的冠军是卡拉嘛，然后大家都说你的这个风格打卡拉的话，应该会更加的好一些。然后，你觉得你打上卡拉的话会是什么样的情况？
我觉得我打卡拉，我现在想想还挺兴奋的。我觉得都有可能发生吧。站立、摔跤、地面，我觉得我们会打一场非常立体的比赛，然后打一场非常精彩的比赛。因为我觉得，只要上了拳台、上了8角笼里以后，我们都要展示最好的自己，然后展示 MMA 的魅力，然后给观众朋友看精彩的比赛。
Yeah, and when you talk about this, I was thinking through in my mind. I feel really happy and excited if I can fight Carla. I